All praises to the Most High. Shalom in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Today I will discuss two articles that I came across whilst doing my research on the identity of the biblical Israelites. The first article, as you can see, that's on the screen, is titled Figures of History, Interpreting Jewish Past in Christian Papua New Guinea by Courtney Hanman. As you can see, the article was published in 2014 in the United States of America. I read the article. The author of the article did a case study on the Guhu Samane people. So the article is basically focused on the Guhu Samane people of Warrior District, Morobe Province, Papua New Guinea. I read the article and I picked out three issues which I will discuss. The first issue that got my attention, or which I picked out from the article, is a complaint by the Guhu Samane people. They were practicing Christians and they were churchgoers. And they approached the author and told the author that they were living like pigs and dogs. So what they basically meant was that despite the fact that they were practicing Christians, their life did not reflect well, as opposed to their counterparts in westernized countries. So as I read between the lines, I formed the opinion, or I drew an inference, that they were basically saying that they live lives of poverty and they did not match their counterparts in westernized countries. And the author could not answer them, so they concluded that better Christians lived in westernized countries and they were not better Christians. That's why they did not have that financial and economic advantage. The author could not address or answer that issue that was raised by the Guhu Samane people. The author did not offer word of encouragement or try to find solution to their problem, this Guhu Samane people. And I believe that issue that was raised by the Guhu Samane people is not only restricted to them, but it is an issue that is widespread throughout the nation of Papua New Guinea, a nation that identifies itself as a Christian nation, and a nation that is commonly called the Mountain of Gold floating on the sea of oil. We are rich with vast natural resources, but our lives, so the economic performance of this nation is very, very poor. So as I said, that issue is not only restricted to the Guhu Samane people, but it is a national issue. It is an issue that is affecting the people of this nation. This nation prides itself as a Christian nation, a nation that is very rich, as I said, with vast natural resources, but a nation that is very poor economically. As you can see on the screen, there was a report by the Guardian newspaper back in May, that's 11th of May, 2023 to be exact. The Guardian newspaper cited the World Bank and stated in their report that 85% of the total population of Papua New Guinea lived under the poverty line in 2020. And as you can see, the Guardian newspaper reported that the national budget was supplemented or funded by loans and money from partner countries, from donors. So this is what is going on in this nation. So what is the root cause of this? There are also other sources, as you can see on the screen. Reports by United Nations and others, as you can see, that's on the screen. 40 to 41% of the total population of Papua New Guinea lived under the poverty line in 2022. So what is the root cause? I mean, we are a nation that is often referred to as the mountain of gold floating on the sea of oil. So what is the root cause of these? Why are we very rich with natural resources, yet we are very poor? Even the working class, our workers, both in the private and the public sectors, they live off loans on a personal level. They cannot fight off the urge of obtaining loans, not only from financial institutions, but also from loan sharks. So what is the root cause? Why is all this? Why is the economic performance of the nation on a governmental level very poor, as well as the financial struggles on the individual level, on a personal level, very hard? I mean, the struggle is very real. Why is all this? Why is all this? We are a nation that identifies itself as a Christian nation. And why do we not have that economic independence? Why isn't our government always running or turning to international financiers to obtain loans? Our Prime Minister, with all due respect, is a very committed Christian, and it is one of his visions to make this nation a Christian nation, yet he could not, or he cannot, steer this nation out of the very deep economic crisis that we are in. So what is the root cause of all that? You can also see the global hunger index that's on the screen. It illustrates that the hunger rate in Papua New Guinea is serious. It's really serious. And Papua New Guinea is rated the 100th out of 121 countries. So the hunger rate in this nation is very serious. We have very high malnutrition rate as well. So what is the root cause of all this? I mean, look at other nations. They especially the nations that have Anglo-Saxon origin or European origin, they do not pride themselves as Christians. But the economic performance of the government is very high. And they are the leaders, global economic leaders, to which we obtain from, this nation goes, the government of this nation goes and obtains loans from these countries and multinational financial institutions. So why is that? What is the root cause of all this? I don't think other countries are very committed to uphold Christianity and Christian principles as this nation is. But yet, the economic performance is very, very poor. And why is all this? Why is it that our people struggle daily, on a daily basis, to make ends meet, despite being very rich with natural resources? Is it a mindset problem? I think not. So as I said, this issue is not only restricted to the Guhusamana people, but it is a national issue that should not be swept under the rug. It is time that we must really look into the root cause to investigate why these things are happening to us. And I have found the cause of all this, and these are the causes of disobedience in Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26. This is what is the reason, the root cause of why this nation is experiencing an economic downturn at the moment. And it seems to be a very big struggle on a daily basis for most of our people. And it's all the causes of disobedience. When you know your identity, you will know why these things are happening. And thankfully for some of us who have awoken to our Hebrew identities, we have identified that as the root cause of all these economic crises that this nation is facing. So the author could not answer the Guhusamane people, and I believe the government also cannot address or resolve the economic crisis that we're going through. And I believe if you go back to the word, you will find why these things are happening. And it's all in the word. When you realize, so when we wake up to our Hebrew identities, then we will know that these are the reasons why we have all these economic problems over us. The second issue that I picked out from the article was an issue raised by an old man from Guinea. He approached the author and told the author that he read the Bible back to front, but he could not find the origin of the black people. And the author could not answer that. So let me just make a comment here. The origin of the black people, the beginning of the black people, or where black people came from, begins with the history of Adam. According to creation story, as you can see on the screen, I've provided the very specific scriptural text. As you can see, the Most High, He created Adam out of the dust of the earth. So Adam was created out of the dust of the earth. And what is the color of the earth? I honestly have never seen white earth, white ground. I've only seen brown earth, gray earth, black earth, and red earth, but never white earth. So the color of the ground will tell you the skin color of Adam. So Adam was a black man. He was a person of color. And this is the origin of the black people. This is the origin of the black people. Both Adam and Eve were black. So this is the origin of the black people. And it astounds me to read that the author did not have an answer to the old man's query or command. If the author was reaching out to these Guhu-Samane people, he should have gone prepared to answer such question. And to leave such questions unanswered goes to show the ignorance of the word. The third issue that I picked out of the article was the claim by the Guhu-Samane people that they were the descendants of the ancient Israelites. And I read the article, and the author speculated that the Guhu-Samane people, they got their ideas from a Sama Institute of Linguistics, that's SIL, Papua New Guinea. There was a pamphlet published by SIL back in the 1970s in which they tried to make comparison between the tribal people of Papua New Guinea and the ancient Israelites. And they drew several similarities between the two cultures. So the author speculated that the Guhu-Samane people, they got the idea from the pamphlet that was circulated in the 1970s. It's very interesting because the author also cited sources that there were similar stories from Solomon Islands, Fiji, and West Papua. So I asked the question, did SIL Papua New Guinea circulate the pamphlet also to Solomon Islands, Fiji, and West Papua? I think not. So the author tried to also make a distinction between the housing of the ancient Israelites and the tribal people of Guhu-Samane. He said the ancient Israelites built their houses with stone, as opposed to the tribal people of Guhu-Samane or Papua New Guinea. They built their houses using perishable forest trees. I will answer why our people build houses using perishable forest trees. It's all in the word. Then as I read along, I drew an inference that the author was saying that it was very impossible for the tribal people of Guhu-Samane to be the descendants of the ancient Israelites because of the linguistic constraints, because of ethnicity constraints and differences, and because of the linguistic differences, because of the religious differences, because the tribal people, they were practicing primal religion, and they in no way matched the ancient Israelites. And it was all because of that differences, those differences that makes it very impossible for the Guhu-Samane people to be the descendants of the ancient Israelites. It's very interesting. And let me just make a comment here, because it's all in the word that the Israelites of the Northern Kingdom would degrade to primal living, primitive lifestyle. It's all in the word, and I will address that to answer why our people have become tribal people with a primitive history. And I will address that to basically rebut the article. So the author, towards the conclusion of the article, said that the way forward was to give them that benefit, give the Guhusamane people the benefit of identifying themselves as the descendants of the ancient Israelites, and that will cause them to become committed Christians. So for Christianity's sake, just give them that benefit. Let them go ahead and say that they are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. Give them that benefit for Christianity's sake. So it's very interesting because we have similar stories from Solomon Islands, Fiji, and West Papua, and these stories are not a coincidence. And this is not a story of wannabes, some people trying to be the descendants of the ancient Israelites. We are not trying to be them. We are, in fact, the descendants of the ancient Israelites, and I will address that in the course of the video. I will address that. I will give you reasons why we are, in fact, the descendants of the ancient Israelites. The second article, as you can see on the screen, is by Professor Tudo Profit. It's titled The Development of Fictive Israelite Identities in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific. I did not read the article because of the title. Then I drew a conclusion that that article was basically against us. It was, in a way, writing off the awakening that is happening in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific, basically to prevent or to rebut the claims made by our people that we are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. So in a way, it's trying to illustrate or draw a picture that there are wannabes in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific who are trying to be or claiming to be the descendants of the ancient Israelites. So all because of the title, I did not read the article. Professor Tudo Profit came to Papua New Guinea and went to Balimo in Papua New Guinea, that's a western province, to do DNA on the Gogodala people. The Gogodala people, according to their oral history, are from the tribe of Benjamin. They migrated here after Jerusalem was conquered by the Babylonians. So in Papua New Guinea, we have Israelites from the Assyrian captivity and Jews from the Babylonian captivity. So they have held that oral tradition and oral history that they were from the tribe of Benjamin, and they needed genetic evidence to prove that oral history. So they invited Professor Profit, and he did DNA on them back in July of 2003. But the DNA results came out inconclusive, unremarkable, unclear. And in a way, it discouraged the awakening, but all praises to the Most High. A Japanese followed up on the DNA of the Gogodala people, and 2 decades later, in 2023, that's this year, he established that the Gogodala people are in fact genetically linked or related to the Jewish people. So now it's all confirmed. It's all confirmed after 20 years. All praises to the Most High, and this is a very good news for the Gogodala people. Congratulations. Thank you for your persistence. All praises to the Most High. And I sincerely apologize to you all on behalf of all Papua New Guineans who have, in one way or the other, by their words and actions, slandered you. So I am very sorry on behalf of other Papua New Guineans. So it's now all confirmed that the Gogodala people are in fact genetically related to the Jewish people. All praises to the Most High. This is a good news not only for the Gogodala people, but for the people of Papua New Guinea and the Melanesian people of Oceania. All praises to the Most High. I give glory to the Most High. So with the genetic evidence that now establishes the Gogodala people, I believe there is no way that their oral history can be rebutted at all. And it's all praises to the Most High. In fact, there is a word in Amos chapter 9, verse 9. The Most High, He is the creator of the universe. He is the maker of the universe. He knows the end from the beginning, and He declares things before they eventuate, and He has a foresight that is so much higher than ours. So in the days of Amos, he knew right back then that in this era of modernization, everyone would want genetic evidence. Everyone would want that. So He gave His word in Amos chapter 9, verse 9, that the Israelites would be shifted as corn is shifted in a sheaf. And He said, yet not the smallest grain shall fall to the ground. This basically means that the Israelites, we Israelites, would mingle among many peoples, yet not the smallest grain, meaning our DNA will not be lost. In the days of Amos, there was no word for DNA. So the Most High typified DNA as the smallest grain. And He said, the smallest grain shall not fall to the earth. So it's not only the Gogodala people who are genetically related or who are the Israelites in Papua New Guinea. In fact, all of us Papua New Guineans are Israelites. And I appeal to the Japanese to do DNA tests also on all indigenous people of Papua New Guinea, because all of us, we are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. And I believe our DNA, the smallest grain, according to Amos chapter 9, verse 9, will not be lost. It will confirm that we are, in fact, the descendants of the ancient Israelites. And I have my reasons why I'm saying this, because of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 that have fallen upon this nation, and which we are experiencing, our people are experiencing on a daily basis, and also that we have fulfilled to the letter the words of the Most High spoken by Hosea, and I will come to that in my next video. Thank you. Shalom. And do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Hallelujah.